Hi, today we are looking at Avengers issue 19, written by Jed MacKay, drawn by Valerio Schiti, and colored by Bryan Valenza. Full spoilers ahead, so you're forewarned. Before I go into the review proper, since suicide is a plot point of this issue, I will put up a suicide disclaimer from this issue periodically. If the topic is somewhat triggering, please stop watching this video and come back for the next issue. All right, on to the review. I really enjoy this issue. The pacing is great, and the use of Avengers allies, bringing in all the characters that MacKay has or had been writing, works very well. Storm's entrance was solid, though I'm not sure if she would introduce herself as a goddess. Hi, Future Tyler here. It is a little weird that she would say that, but it also booked end nicely the conversation she would have at the end of this issue when Thor asks her to take his place as he takes a leave of absence from the Avengers. Well, in my opinion, Thor asking Storm to replace him is an even bigger reason than giving mutants a voice. Um, the latter reasons sound very much like a handout, while the former stems from a place of respect and recognition of her abilities. I like that it is not just Storm, join us. Then and she's like, oh, of course, I will. I mean, there are considerations to be taken into account of, and I like it slightly drawn out this way. Also note that she divided the team up into God, Thor, Friends, and the Avengers. So at this point on the team, we have Iron Man, whom was actively on the Krakoan side during the fall of X, Carol, a friend of the X-Men since the Claremont era, Wanda herself, not a mutant, but until we get another retcon, and Sam. So these four are obviously friends. And then we have T'Challa, Aurora's ex, whom had been oddly quiet thus far. Is he a friend? Or is he just an Avenger, like Vision? Well, I'm here for messy ex-lovers tension and soap opera, which is synonymous with the X-Men, which brings us to the conversation with Scott. That look between them when Storm said, "You and I could never go back to taking orders from one another." I mean, those couple of pages feels so much more X-Men than any of the issues of McKay's X-Men. Well, except maybe for issue 3. I mean, also, Storm was on the Quiet Council and the Great Ring of Araco. So she's basically saying, Scott, I will be in charge here. Is that what you want? And Scott understood that implication. I mean, look at him being speechless for a bit before he answered. And Q being Q, that got a smile out of me when we got to him. So why does the X-Men not feel like X-Men in their own title? Like, can we get this MacKay to write the X-Men and remove the screw that has been posing as him, like on that book? Anyway, when Tony said superhuman while describing Hyperion, I read that as Superman, which he technically is, and he's still heading towards Earth as a superhuman speeding bullet. Now, the combination of mind, soul, and eyes, while cool, seems a little unnecessary. Like, wouldn't the eyes and the mind itself be sufficient? Like, to see where he is and to figure out which route he's taking? Like, why is so needed for this? I mean, Vision expressing remorse for what they are about to do in the name of defending Earth and then latching on to the solution at the very last minute, I think was brilliant. The way I read it, he wasn't happy with the solution they had and never stopped searching for one, which is a win-win for their predicament. So I like that he's a construct and he could only voice the remorse, but the others show theirs but via their body language. Subverting the expectation of an all-out brawl, the resolution to this conflict, which is a literal suicide attempt, is nicely done. The Avengers badly need a win coming out of the recent Blood Hunt event. Technically, they did not win during the whole vampire situation. I also like that MacKay thought about and gave a solution as to how characters are speaking in space. Nerdy stuff like that makes me smile. I imagine him reading comics and like asking questions like, how do they even speak in a vacuum with nothing to transmit the voices? Skitty is bringing it with the art. The number of characters he has to draw, the different environments, Asgard, Impossible City, space, the factory, and all the hair. Oh my god. The hair of Storm, of Sif, of Carol, of Thor, and even the a little bit messy hair of like Tony. I mean, while Oral's hair also appears messy in some panels, but is drawn in such a way that it looks intentional. So, we mentioned last issue that his art looks slightly different, but that seems to have gone away this issue. It looks less sketchy and more inked, if you will. Agree. I mean, I love the splash page of My Soul Eyes. I also kind of like all the fairy creatures like serving drinks and tea to Wanda in the Sanctum Sanctorium. It is really fun to look at. He also gave Wanda this wonderful smirky look whenever she's on panel and not saying anything. I mean, just look at those faces. I mean, I love his close-up shots of characters like Storm, like as when she first arrived, Q when he greeted Storm, Hyperion when he teared up, and Carol's anger at having to do the wrong right thing. Um, there is a tendency for Skitty to position the camera pointing upwards to frame the panel from below to make the scene more dramatic. It works wonderfully most of the time, but not all the time. So even though in our review we split writing and art and discuss them like in different sections, in reality, when the team works and comes together as one, there's really not as clear a separation. Like take for example, this panel, and the stance. Look at the stance of Tony and T'Challa. Is this MacKay's writing, or did Skitty drew them this way because of what the speech bubble was saying? Like, it does not really matter because whatever idea it was, it is great storytelling together. So if you have been following thus far, you will be surprised to know that I'm rating this a half, half of the 5 for 4.5 out of 5. This is a really good story that subverted our expectation. There are great character voices supported by amazing art. There's really nothing to not like in this issue. Well, agree. I think the only reason this is not a 5 is the soul bit, which felt kind of unnecessary. I mean, otherwise, it would be a perfect issue. So, needless to say, this is a must buy. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and a subscribe. Please share this with someone whom you think might enjoy this, and drop us a comment below. Tyler out.